heaven from hell, blue skies from pain. Can you tell a green field, gold steel rail, smile from a veil? Do you think you can tell? Did they get you to trade your heroes for ghosts, hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze, cold comfort for change? Did you exchange, walk on part in the war, lead role in a cage? How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground that we found, same old fears. Wish you were here. Hey everybody, I'm Paulie G. Welcome back to the Paulie G Show, coming to you live from high atop Mount Georgia. How are you all doing, my friends? I wish you were here. No, I'm glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's great to be back here with you and making another video. Today's subject is Guild 12-string guitars, and specifically this 12-string, which is the Gibson F-1512E. Okay, so, you know, the thing about Guilds is, although their quality is, you know, really supreme, and I think most people know that, they don't really have as big a reputation as, you know, Gibson and Fender and Taylor and Martin and things like that, but they've really consistently held their own over the years with quality guitars. And I think really the thing they're probably, for me, best known for are 12 strings. I think they really, you know, have that's the high mark for most people when they think of a 12 string, is a big, you know, jumbo Orpheum body 12 string Guild guitar, you know, that was made famous by, you know, like Stevie Ray Vaughan played them. So many people played them in the 50s and 60s and made there's a lot of hit records that you've heard over the years that, you know, had a Guild 12 string. That intro song, by the way, that I played was not played on a Guild 12 string. That was actually played on David Gilmour's Martin D35 12 string Martin. But I always thought that was a great 12-string sound, and I wanted to play a little bit of that for you. But I think, you know, the 12-string Guild that's their high mark. That's what really, if that's the lane they are, I think, best known for. Now, that's the USA version. So they, you know, they started building those in, you know, in the late 60s, early 70s, I think. Mostly known for the Rhode Island factory, which is the Westerly, you know, the Westerly model. That's the F512, and they're still around. They're very expensive, This is actually the imported version of that. This is the 1512. But it's very similarly constructed in that it's all solid materials. So we've got a solid spruce top, solid rosewood back and sides, and it's really a beautiful piece of rosewood, or pieces of rosewood that are made. A solid mahogany neck, which is really a wide neck. And you know, when you play 12 strings, that's the thing about them. The neck necessarily has to be fat and wide. It's got to be fat enough to withstand all the tension that you're going to get from all the extra strings. And it's got to be wide enough to have 12 strings run across it and for you to be able to articulate in between the strings. So I can't play these all the time because I have really small hands and my hands get really tired playing 12 string. But I play them a lot in my acoustic gigs for certain things. I always bring at least one or two with them when I play, because I think they're really, really great for certain songs. And for example, the one that I open with, I always love to play that, prefer to play that on a 12 string. It just has a whole different kind of vibe to it when you do that. You know, and 12 strings, they're not great for everything, but you know, I think they really have a purpose, and they're a great tool. You sacrifice a lot of sort of bass resonance because the string diameters are necessarily quite a bit thinner than you could use on a 6 string for the most part. So you gain a lot in terms of just overall projection. I always kind of compare it to playing a grand piano versus a little, you know, spinet piano. There's a big array of sound that comes out of it, but you do sacrifice a little bit of the bottom end, you know, in tone on them. So, you know, and you know, it's harder to bend strings and things like that. It's harder to play solos. I can't really play solo. I tried to play one just now on a 12 string. That's probably the first time I've tried to do it in a long time. And obviously it's not that great, but I've seen people do it. It's not really easy. You're bending 2 strings at once. It's hard enough for me to bend one. But they're really great for rhythm guitars and strummers. And I think this one I've been really, really pleased with. I've had this for a number of years. I really wanted a Guild 12 string. I really didn't want to spend thousands of dollars because I knew it wasn't going to be an everyday guitar. Like I said, it's not a guitar that you're going to play all day, every day. I couldn't do it with my small hands, even if I wanted to. So this was like a great, you know, ability to get one at a fairly low price. Being an imported guitar, I don't like to talk about money all that much, but I think they're still around $1,000 or maybe even a little bit less. They were way less than that when I got this one. So is it as good as an American-made F-1512? You know, no, but it's really good enough. And again, when I play out, I'm using my PA system anyway. I'm plugging this in, so the actual, you know, resonance of the guitar, the acoustic guitar itself, in a way, is a little bit less important to me because I'm more interested in how it plays through my PA system, and for that, it works really, really well. Although I have one more 12 string that I'm going to do a demo on from a brand that I think most people are not really that familiar with. That is actually, to be honest with you, is my favorite 12 string of all the ones that I own. And I'll do a demo with that very soon, and I'll explain why. I just think it's an amazing guitar. Not an expensive guitar. Again, I don't spend a lot of money on guitars that I'm not going to play every day or play very often. Because to me they're more, you know, utilitarian. I need them for certain things, and I'll keep one 12 string in an open E tuning, and I'll keep one in a standard tuning, and I use them for certain songs, and that's it. You know, I don't play them, you know, all the time. I know some people that do. I love going to see. There's a gentleman named Randy Jackson who was in a band for many years, and it's going to take me a minute to... Zebra is the name of the band. I'm sorry for that pause there. There's an awesome 80s band called Zebra, and the leader of the band is a guy named Randy Jackson, and he does acoustic shows, and he does them all night with a 12 string, and he plays for hours and hours and hours. And I love going to see him play because he does the Zebra songs, and then he's a huge Zeppelin guy, so he plays all kinds of Zeppelin tunes and Beatles and Pink Floyd. And the thing that's amazing about Randy is that he detunes like on the fly. He'll just switch to open G and just really fast. And with me with a 12 string, I mean, it takes me half an hour just with a tuner, just to tune it to, you know, standard tuning. And he just does all this stuff on the fly, and it's just amazing to watch him do it. That's an amazing show. I mean, to see a guy like that with a 12 string is just so impressive, you know. But I can't do that. But I do love them. I do use them for certain things, and I wanted to do a demo on this one. I'll make one more brief comment before I sign off in the way of advice. And I'm going to be echoing my good friend Randy over at Randy's Rhythm. By the way, if you want to get some great guitar lessons and see some great content, check out Randy's Rhythm. Randy's an awesome guy. He's got a lot of great information. He's a super nice guy, and his recent video where he did a re-review of the Epiphone Excellente, which kind of motivated me to pull mine out and reacquaint myself with mine. But he talks about humidifying guitars, and his advice couldn't be more important, especially with regard to where you live, you know, geographically. So if you live in a place like, say, Florida, there's the risk of over-humidification of an acoustic guitar. Or if you live where I live in the winter, where you're running heat a lot and the air gets extremely dry, it's super, super important to keep your guitars humidified. And I think that's really, really sound advice from Randy, and I echo that advice. And all my higher end guitars, I always keep humidified, either with those humidipacks that D'Addario makes, or at the very least I use the sponges, and I go around periodically and keep them, you know, keep them humidified in the case. I keep all my stuff in the cases 90% of the time anyway. I'm not one to just have guitars laying around, you know, getting dried out in the ambient temperature. So that's great advice from Randy, and I think you'd be well served if you follow that advice. That's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to make this video with this great guitar because I pulled it out. I was having some fun with it. So I'll follow up with I think my next one I'll do is be that other 12 string or something in between. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I want to thank you very, very much for tuning in. As always, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're being safe and taking care of yourself and all your family and friends. And until next time, this is Paulie G reminding you that when it comes to guitars, you only need one. More. See you next time.